Hi class, in lesson 4.5 you will be multiplying decimals. Learning targets for today, you will use hundredths and decimal grids to multiply two decimals. We will be multiplying two decimals and also estimating the product of decimals. Turn to page 268, problem 1, modeling decimal multiplication. You can use tenth or hundredth square grids to model multiplication of decimals by whole numbers. If we take a look at our first example, 3 times 2 tenths, I have 3 equal size 2 tenths parts that are shaded in for a product of 6 tenths. My second example, I have 2 times 25 hundredths. I have 2 equal size parts of 25 hundredths that are shaded in for a product of 50 hundredths. And finally, for my third example, 5 times 3 tenths. I have 5 equal size parts of 3 tenths that are shaded in for a product of 1 and 5 tenths. Turn to page 269, answer number 1, letters A through C with your group members. For number 1, letter A, I have 4 equal size parts of 2 tenths that are shaded in. My product is 8 tenths. For letter B, I have 5 equal size parts of 2 tenths that are shaded in. My product is 1 whole. For letter C, I have 9 equal size parts of 3 tenths that are shaded in. My product is 2 and 7 tenths. Turn to page 270. Similar to how you used area models to multiply fractions, you can also use hundredths grids to multiply two decimals. Our problem is 5 tenths times 7 tenths in the example. I have my 5 tenths that is shaded in black. I have my 7 tenths that are shaded in red. The area where the shading overlaps is going to represent the product for us. So 5 tenths times 7 tenths is going to be equal to 35 hundredths. Answer number 2, letters A through D with your group members. Number 2, letter A, 2 tenths times 8 tenths. Your product is 16 hundredths. Letter B, 3 tenths times 6 tenths. Your product is 18 hundredths. Letter C, 1 whole times 6 tenths. Your product is 6 tenths. And letter D, 7 tenths times 7 tenths. Your product is 49 hundredths. Turn to page 274, problem 2, estimating products of decimals. Estimation can also help you with multiplication of decimals. If you do not need the exact product, you can estimate to determine the approximate product. If you have an estimate, you can use it to decide whether your answer is correct. An estimate can also help you place your decimal point correctly in the product. Kenny said, I can never remember the rule for multiplying decimals, so I use estimation when I forget. So suppose Kenny has to multiply 32 and 64 hundredths times 7 and 3 tenths. He's going to first estimate his two numbers. 32 and 64 hundredths is close to 30. 7 and 3 tenths is close to 7. So 7 times 30 equals 210. So he knows that his product is close to 210, but maybe a little larger since he rounded down. So next, using the standard algorithm, he is going to calculate the product of 32 and 64 hundredths times 7 and 3 tenths. Kenny knows the product will be larger than 210, so he knows he must place the decimal point after the 8. The product is 238 and 272 thousandths. Turn to page 275, answer number 1, letters A through C with your group members. For number 1, letter A, my estimated product is 50, so I know that I would have to place the decimal point after the 3. for a product of 43 and 658 thousandths. For letter B, my estimated product is 4. I know my decimal point would have to go after the first 4 for a product of 4 and 74 hundredths. For letter C, my estimated product is 25. I know my decimal point will go after the first or after the 3 for a product of 23 and 406 thousandths. This will conclude today's lesson on multiplying decimals. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.